Hello guys. So the previous speaker was awesome. How was he so energetic? So I'm Reena Shtedle from Citadel.one, and today we'll be talking about the use We'll be talking about the use case amplification, so how to avoid this unnecessary cryptic complexity, as well as, please, come on, and as well as how to route the casual users to complex cryptic scenarios, so that at your point, your mama will be used like Cosmos and some, I don't know what's going on there. So at certain point, your mom will be able to use some kind of Cosmos applications with no need to face all of this stuff. So, but before we start, why we're here, the Cosmos is expanding tremendously. And we've seen a lot of, newcomers and a lot of new projects coming to the ecosystem. Recently, Van Eck research group reported that, is it like going some way? Anyways, so recently Van Eck research reported that more than like 30% of all future blockchains are gonna be hosted on Cosmos ecosystem, with more than 50% of them being secured by the Cosmos Hub, and the value accrual by the year of 2030 is gonna be more than 21 billion. So we are gonna see a lot of new builders, a lot of new projects, a lot of new investors and liquidity coming to Cosmos. And of course, most certainly we'll see more users. And what these users are gonna see is, as the previous speaker was mentioning, is actually, this UX troubles. And we at Citadel are trying to actually address some of these projects. So, can I get me my presentation, please? Okay. Anyways, so the UX problems we are facing right now include the general service fragmentation, so not only for Cosmos, but also for like networks like Polkadot, Ethereum, and it's really hard to figure out how to deal with them. So it's also really hard to find the optimal solution when you're just joining the ecosystem and you're trying to figure out what to do. So there's also a huge lack of communication between the general developers and the users, so that they never can, notify about the heart of the chain, even if you're not like following the Twitter or anything. And there is literally no way to get in touch with them. So this is another thing we are trying to solve, and I'll be talking a little bit more about this later. Another thing is definitely the, this lack of education, and every time I'm trying to figure this out, this is like, very hard to explain. And there's lack of clear terminology, unified terminology. There is also really clear misunderstanding of some terms of use, as well as some what kind of possibilities the service is providing. So there's also really hard to transition between various devices. So for example, if you're like heavy mobile user, it's almost impossible to use the same functionality within the web version. And so, no really guys, I'm not kidding. Please get me my presentation back. I mean, that's not planned. Anyways, so should I continue or should we retry again? Every time it happens. No. Yeah. Come on. Okay. Anyways, just do something. So yeah, UX is super, unclear, so my mom would never be able to set up MetaMask or Calper, sorry God. And so we are just, we are still having this huge troubles, and I want to show you this, levels of blockchains interaction, so that you understand on which level we can actually target the users that are not in crypto. So, yes. So the basic level, so they just, the network interactions that are enabled by the network by default are like send, stake, vote, or some network specifics. And then we expand the functionality to contracts. And contracts can be like anything, like custom Cosmoverse contracts, or either like, decentralized autonomous organizations, fungible, non-fungible tokens. We can get that like more, and you still need interface to interact with that. It's not easy. So the first attempt to solve the user problems are actually like applications. So like either Cosmos Station, like Citadel.one, we're trying to make it easier, but still, as Enrico was mentioning, it's still for very like tech-savvy people. You need to figure out the C phrase and everything. So what happens next is actually, the way to provide this easy user interface for those who are not in crypto. And here we have like apps in aggregation, so that you can access like the general app types like swaps, like in case of DEXs, lending, liquid staking, just within one application. No need to worry about this complexity. Still, though, it's very hard to onboard users and sustain users. And this is how we get to complex scenarios. So, for example, complex scenarios will enable my mom to buy some item with debit card, and then use our restaking backed within the interface, so that you don't even have to leave the platform, or in the same manner, you don't even have to, to deal with this. And that's through crypto complexity with all of the seed phrases and everything. But before we go into more details, I need to point out that some principles are still here to be remained, like non-custodial. Not your keys, not your crypto, so this is pretty clear. It should be wallet agnostic, so you can access it with Ledger or Trezor device, like Hapler. You should be free to do that. And of course, cross-chain and cross-platform, so you're not limited within one network or within one single device. So now we get back to Citadel.one. So what we are doing at Citadel.one is we're trying to solve all of these major UX bottlenecks for the Cosmos ecosystem and beyond. So we have the layer of the wallet functionality, asset management. We also have this involvement and incentivization model of DAO and XCD token. But most importantly, we have this section for C1 App Store, which can be shown later. So what we're having right now is we rebuilt some of the most used applications so that you can access it directly with your address from your account. And we added some thoughtful touches actually, so you can see the detailed asset page, the pools, everything you have, and even some network specific like superfluid staking. So our restack app, so we're trying to make it as easy as possible for users to, to get the benefit of this other staking module. So we have all the validator you're staking with covered, and we also covered transaction fees on our behalf. Governance application, topic governance. Yeah, so we're trying to get people involved, and along with launching this governance app, we're trying to get real audience to interact with proposals, to cast their thoughts, and you'll be also able to see how your validator actually voted. So. And this gives us an awesome opportunity to build something more cool. So remember aggregation we're talking about? So here we have some base apps like, Osmosis, GridSwap, PancakeSwap, whatever, multi-chain. And this is just a typical application, so it's basically the same interface. By connecting interfaces of typical application, we can actually make some more complex use cases like SuperSwap, for example. It's never been easy to go from token A to token B without creation any kind of additional addresses or having, assets to cover the transaction fees. So with this, we'll be actually able to solve this and use, get the benefit of it for complex crypto scenarios. And not limited to SuperSwap, so basically we have various app types we can possibly aggregate. And on a further note, we'll be able to create the complex use cases. You guys can be, pitching to your family members and finally get them into Cosmos. So, for example, the marketplace use case. So the marketplace use case is, something I was dreaming about. So we have various suppliers, either it's ticketing, some subscriptions, VPN, whatever. We have the generalized layout, and each of the suppliers actually wants some specific token to be paid in. And you do not necessarily have to have this token. So via the super swap, we'll be able to provide each and every supplier with the asset he needs. Just, getting it by your, the asset you have within your account. And also the in-app creation of addresses for you so that you don't even need to worry about this. Hopefully at certain point we'll be able to, buy Cosmoverse tickets via this layout. Another cool point, my favorite. So, liquid staking solutions. We've seen a lot, people growing the projects with liquid staking. And at some point, those who are new to crypto will need to understand what's the beneficial way to use liquid staking. And so we'll be able to provide the solution that actually aggregates the existing protocols for you to find the best way to liquid stake your assets, and then to the best way to use your derivative. So the best part, web and mobile. So it's basically will be accessible both on web and mobile with no need to worry about this harsh transition. And the part I'm also very excited about is opportunities for outside developers. We're not looking to do it all by ourselves. So we'll be actually looking for those who are willing to build their specific use case and focus on covering the specific crypto users' needs via our SDK, our UI kit for boosting the development, some app templates so you can actually, if you have the app swap app type, you'll be able to create it on any network you're working with, and also the DApp services like Request Manager for nodes or in-app creation of addresses that I was mentioning previously. Yeah, so Citadel.one versus Web3 sounds hard, okay? But anyways, we'll be able to provide opportunity for developers to, to deal with cross-service interaction. We'll be providing development tools, documentation support and everything. Also easy address management both for the developers so that they don't have to build this logic, and for users to actually interact with their portfolio very easily. And most importantly, so if the project is not so well promoted but still providing the most optimal solution, we'll be able to include it in these aggregation routing so that users can get the benefit without even knowing they're using this specific product, which will provide a lot of exposure to newly launched protocols or anything else. So finally, I've got some time actually. So finally, users can boost their experience with various crypto scenarios, with various applications and everything, with no need to deal with this education, with no need to worry about how they set up their wallet or portfolio. And developers in the same time can be tackled with this. They can focus on the use cases. They can solve the bottlenecks of the ecosystems, not only Cosmos but also beyond, connecting, providing, and everything, with no need to build additional logic that takes a lot of time. And so they can also get exposed to the audience just by joining us, huh? Okay, at some point, your mom will be able to use Cosmos in a very user-friendly way. Yeah, maybe my mom will be able to mint some birthday NFT at some point, so I'm very excited for that. So I guess that's it. It was awesome meeting you guys. I'm happy that you made it today, party night last night. Anyways, sorry for the beginning. It wasn't my fault, but I was trying hard. Anyways, so thank you guys. Awesome. Meet us if anything.